Your future self is watching you right now, and they're disappointed. Not because you're not successful enough, but because you keep postponing the life you actually want to live. Recent surveys show that our biggest regrets aren't about what we did, but about what we kept putting off. We've created elaborate systems to avoid our authentic selves. We optimize our schedules, upgrade our productivity apps, and plan our perfect future lives while the present moment slips away unnoticed. Ancient wisdom has a name for this behavior, and once you recognize it, you can't unsee it. The answer to why we do this comes from an unexpected source that saw right through our modern excuses centuries before they even existed. The ancient mirror that reflects our modern problem. The Roman philosopher Seneca wrote letters to his friend Lucilius nearly 2,000 years ago. In one of these letters, he asked a question that hits differently in 2025. Why do you postpone yourself? When you read those words, something inside you probably shifted. That's not because Seneca had supernatural insight. It's because human nature hasn't changed at all since his time. We still do the exact same things he observed in ancient Rome. We still delay what matters most while convincing ourselves we're being productive. You might think that with all our technological advances, we'd be better at living authentically. We have productivity apps, life coaches, meditation apps, and countless systems designed to help us optimize our existence. People use many different digital tools claiming to improve their life quality, yet somehow we're more disconnected from authentic living than previous generations. Many people feel like they're living someone else's life most of the time. Seneca would recognize this pattern immediately. He saw it in his own era when people postponed their authentic selves for political advancement, social status, or financial gain. The philosopher's letters contain observations that read like they were written yesterday. He writes about people who exhaust themselves acquiring things they don't need, who spend their best energy on work that doesn't fulfill them, who delay meaningful relationships for strategic networking. Sound familiar? His insights about postponement apply directly to our modern struggles with social media comparison, career anxiety, and the endless pursuit of optimization. He understood that humans have always chosen the complicated path to happiness when the simple path was available all along. What makes Seneca's ancient wisdom particularly relevant now is how our digital tools amplify these postponement patterns. We have more ways than ever to avoid authentic living. We can scroll instead of reflect, optimize instead of act, plan instead of begin. Studies show knowledge workers spend nearly 1 hour a day on productivity tools, but less than 15 minutes on meaningful work. Seneca would point out that we're using sophisticated tools to avoid the same simple truths he identified 2 millennia ago. The tension between what we think we want and what we actually need has only intensified since Seneca's time. He observed that people in ancient Rome convinced themselves they needed elaborate lifestyles to be happy, when happiness was available through simpler means. Today, we've created even more elaborate forms of self-deception. We tell ourselves we need the perfect morning routine, the right productivity system, the ideal work-life balance, and the optimal social media presence before we can start living authentically. Meanwhile, authentic living remains as accessible as it was in Seneca's day. Consider how we use the word eventually in our daily language. Eventually, I'll write that book. Eventually, I'll have that difficult conversation. Eventually, I'll pursue what I actually care about. Seneca noticed that eventually becomes a permanent address for most people. They set up entire lives in the waiting room of their authentic existence. Most working adults plan to eventually pursue their real interests once they achieve financial security, career advancement, or life stability. But these conditions keep shifting, ensuring that eventually never arrives. The philosopher's approach to examining this problem provides a framework for understanding our current digital age distractions. He looked at how people structured their days, where they directed their energy, and what they prioritized in their decision-making. When you apply this same lens to 2025 behaviors, patterns emerge immediately. We structure our days around digital notifications rather than personal values. We direct our energy toward maintaining online personas rather than developing authentic relationships. We prioritize activities that generate external validation rather than internal growth. Seneca's letters reveal that postponement isn't just about procrastination. It's about fear of confronting who we actually are versus who we think we should be. This fear manifests differently in each era, but the underlying pattern remains consistent. In ancient Rome, people postponed authenticity for political favor. In our time, we postpone authenticity for social media engagement, career advancement, and lifestyle optimization. The tools change, but the postponement behavior stays the same. The most striking aspect of Seneca's observations is how they expose our modern self-deception about progress. We believe that having more options, more tools, and more information should make authentic living easier. But Seneca understood that complexity often becomes an excuse for postponement. The more elaborate our systems become, the more reasons we have to delay what matters most. He would recognize our productivity culture as an advanced form of the same postponement behavior he observed in his contemporaries. Ancient wisdom becomes especially powerful when it reveals patterns we can't see from inside our current moment. Seneca's perspective on postponement shows us that our digital age struggles aren't new problems requiring new solutions. They're ancient problems wearing modern clothes. The person scrolling through social media, instead of having a meaningful conversation, is doing the same thing as the Roman citizen who attended endless social gatherings to avoid confronting their authentic desires. The philosopher's letters suggest that every generation thinks their postponement behavior is justified by their unique circumstances. Ancient Romans postponed authenticity because of political instability. We postpone authenticity because of economic uncertainty, social media pressure, and information overload. But from Seneca's perspective, these are all variations on the same theme. We're always finding sophisticated reasons to avoid simple truths about what makes life meaningful. What makes this ancient question so urgent in 2025 is that our capacity for postponement has expanded dramatically. We have more sophisticated ways to avoid ourselves than any previous generation. We can postpone authentic living through endless optimization, constant connectivity, and perpetual busyness. The philosopher's letters provide a clear perspective on these modern distractions because they come from someone who understood postponement in its purest form without digital amplification. The same human tendencies that existed 2,000 years ago are now amplified by our modern world. Our tools haven't changed our nature. They've simply given us more elaborate ways to express the same fundamental patterns Seneca observed. His question about postponing ourselves reveals something troubling about how we approach life itself. We've somehow convinced ourselves that the path to what we want must be indirect, complex, and require extensive preparation. The roundabout trap we all fall into. This misconception drives us to create elaborate detours when direct paths are available. We believe that meaningful living requires complex systems, perfect conditions, and extensive preparation. This roundabout thinking convinces us that we must first optimize our productivity, then build our career, then accumulate resources, and only after completing this lengthy sequence can we finally live authentically. Most professionals view their current job as preparation for their real career, which they plan to start within the next 5 years. This same pattern repeats year after year, suggesting that the preparation phase never actually ends. Consider how we structure our relationship with activities we claim to value. We say we want to write, but first we need the perfect writing setup, the right productivity system, and sufficient time blocks. We say we want to exercise, but first we need the optimal workout plan, the correct equipment, and the ideal schedule. We say we want to learn something new, but first we need to research the best methods, find the right resources, and clear our calendar. Each desire becomes wrapped in layers of prerequisites that ensure we never actually begin. This roundabout mentality appears most clearly in our career choices. Many college graduates accept jobs they don't find meaningful because they believe these positions will eventually lead to work they care about. They spend years developing skills they don't want to use, building networks in industries they don't like, and climbing ladders they didn't choose to climb. Most of these graduates remain trapped in preparation mode, always one more promotion away from pursuing their authentic interests. Modern workplace culture reinforces this roundabout thinking through its emphasis on career pathing and skill development. We're told to think strategically about our professional growth, to consider how each role prepares us for the next one, and to build comprehensive skill sets before pursuing our actual interests. Workers spend significantly more time on activities designed to advance their career than on activities that align with their personal values. We invest more time in becoming who we think we should be than in being who we actually are. The gap between our stated values and our actual behavior reveals the depth of this roundabout trap. When asked what matters most to them, people consistently mention relationships, personal growth, creativity, and contribution to others. Yet most people spend less than 2% of their waking hours on these priority areas. Instead, we dedicate our prime energy to activities we view as stepping stones toward eventual fulfillment. We treat our authentic desires as destinations we'll reach after completing an elaborate journey of preparation. This pattern extends beyond career choices into every aspect of modern life. We postpone meaningful conversations until we have better communication skills. We delay creative projects until we have more talent or training. We put off travel until we have sufficient savings or vacation time. We avoid vulnerable friendships until we feel more confident or stable. Each postponement is justified by practical reasoning, but the cumulative effect is a life spent preparing to live rather than actually living. The emotional cost of this roundabout approach becomes clear when we examine how people feel about their daily routines. Most working adults describe their weekdays as mostly preparing for the weekend and their current year as mostly preparing for next year. This perpetual preparation state creates a persistent sense of incompleteness and dissatisfaction. We're always becoming, never being. We're always getting ready, never ready. Why do we choose this longer, more painful path to fulfillment? The roundabout approach feels safer because it allows us to avoid the vulnerability of pursuing what we actually want. If we fail at something we're not really passionate about, the failure doesn't reflect on our authentic self. If we succeed at our authentic pursuits, we have to take responsibility for that success. The roundabout path provides psychological protection through its built-in excuse system. We can always claim we haven't really started yet. Modern culture amplifies this roundabout mentality through its obsession with optimization and efficiency. We're surrounded by messages suggesting that direct approaches are naive, that successful people always think strategically, and that immediate action is impulsive. Self-help content has shifted dramatically toward complex systems and multi-step processes. Simple advice like "just start" has been replaced by elaborate frameworks requiring extensive setup and planning phases. Social media reinforces these patterns by showcasing the results of authentic living without revealing the simple actions that created those results. We see people doing meaningful work, having fulfilling relationships, and living interesting lives, but we assume they achieved these outcomes through sophisticated planning and preparation. Exposure to success stories on social platforms increases people's belief that achievement requires complex preparation. We develop elaborate theories about how successful people got where they are, when often they simply started doing what they wanted to do. The roundabout trap also manifests in our relationship with money and security. We convince ourselves that we need specific financial benchmarks before we can pursue authentic living. People consistently overestimate the amount of money required for their desired lifestyle by significant margins. This overestimation creates a moving target that ensures we remain in preparation mode indefinitely. We postpone authentic pursuits while we build financial security, but our definition of enough security keeps expanding. Educational institutions contribute to this roundabout thinking by structuring learning as preparation for future application rather than immediate engagement with meaningful material. Students spend years studying subjects they don't care about because these subjects are supposedly prerequisites for eventually studying what they do care about. Most students view their current coursework as preparation for their real education, which they plan to pursue after graduation. This mindset continues into professional life, where we view our current skills as preparation for eventually using skills we actually want to develop. Technology companies profit from our roundabout mentality by selling us tools that promise to make authentic living easier in the future. We subscribe to productivity apps, planning systems, and optimization platforms because they offer the illusion of progress without requiring us to actually pursue our authentic interests. People spend significantly more money on apps and services designed to improve their future life quality than on activities that directly contribute to their current life satisfaction. The roundabout approach to life satisfaction creates a psychological paradox. The more elaborate our preparation becomes, the more distant our authentic goals appear. We develop complex systems for getting ready to live, but these systems become substitutes for actual living. We mistake motion for progress, preparation for action, and planning for doing. The roundabout path doesn't lead us closer to fulfillment. It leads us further away from it by creating an endless cycle of delay disguised as strategic thinking. This pattern becomes even more pronounced when we examine how our modern tools and systems promise to accelerate our journey toward authentic living, yet somehow manage to create even more elaborate forms of delay. The digital railroad: how modern speed creates more delay. Thoreau observed something fascinating about the railroad system that was transforming America in his time. People believed they could travel faster by train than on foot, but Thoreau calculated differently. He factored in the time required to earn money for the train ticket, and when you included those working hours, walking often proved faster than riding the rails. This insight applies perfectly to our digital age, except now we're dealing with something far more complex than train tickets. Consider the modern remote worker who uses digital tools to manage their work and coordinate with distributed teams. Many people know that remote work saves commuting time, yet they find themselves investing more hours juggling digital platforms, productivity software, and communication systems. Research from the Remote Work Efficiency Report shows that workers often spend significant portions of their day managing the very tools designed to make them more efficient. When you add the time spent earning money to pay for these tools, plus the time spent learning and maintaining them, the supposed efficiency gains disappear entirely. The gig economy creates an even more striking version of Thoreau's railroad paradox. Freelancers and independent contractors often work 60 or 70 hours per week to achieve the income that traditional employees earn in 40 hours. They justify this extra time investment by pointing to the flexibility and autonomy that gig work provides. Yet most gig workers spend less time on personal pursuits than traditional employees. They're working longer hours for the promise of eventually having more time for what matters to them. But that eventual freedom never materializes because they're always hustling for the next project. Our modern productivity systems have become elaborate versions of Thoreau's train ticket. We purchase project management software, time tracking apps, calendar systems, note-taking platforms, and communication tools. Each purchase promises to save us time and increase our efficiency. The average knowledge worker uses multiple different apps and platforms to manage their work and personal life. They spend significant time each day just switching between these various systems and keeping them synchronized. The subscription economy exploits our railroad mentality by selling us monthly access to efficiency. We pay for cloud storage, productivity suites, meditation apps, fitness platforms, and learning systems. Each subscription represents a small monthly investment in our future improved life. The average household maintains dozens of active digital subscriptions, spending hundreds of dollars per month on services designed to make life easier or more fulfilling. Yet life satisfaction scores have declined consistently even as subscription spending has increased. Think about how we approach something as simple as writing. Previous generations grabbed a pen and paper and started writing. Today, we research the best writing apps, compare note-taking systems, watch productivity tutorials, and set up elaborate workflows before we write a single word. Aspiring writers spend extensive time researching and setting up their writing systems before they begin their first project. Many never move beyond the setup phase because they become trapped in an endless cycle of optimization. The promise of artificial intelligence and automation creates another layer of the railroad paradox. We're told that AI will handle routine tasks, freeing us to focus on meaningful work. Yet workers who adopt AI tools often spend more time, not less, managing and training these systems. They work longer hours to afford the subscriptions and hardware required for AI integration, then spend additional time learning how to use these tools effectively. The time saved by automation gets consumed by the overhead of managing the automation itself. Social media platforms function as digital railroads that promise to connect us with others more efficiently than traditional communication. We can reach hundreds of people instantly through posts and messages. But people who spend more time on social media report feeling more isolated and less connected to others. The time spent managing online relationships comes at the expense of deeper, more meaningful connections. We're communicating faster, but connecting less effectively. The modern workspace exemplifies this digital railroad thinking. Companies invest heavily in collaboration platforms, project management systems, and communication tools that promise to make teams more productive. Employees in highly digitized workplaces spend significantly more time in meetings and administrative tasks than employees in traditional offices. The tools designed to streamline work have created new categories of work that didn't exist before. We're working faster, but accomplishing less of what actually matters. Online learning platforms represent another version of the railroad ticket. We purchase courses, certification programs, and skill-building platforms because they promise to accelerate our professional development. People who complete online courses spend extensive time per course, including time spent on platform navigation, technical issues, and administrative tasks. Most traditional apprenticeships or mentorship relationships would provide equivalent learning in fewer total hours and with more practical application. The fitness and wellness industry has created digital railroads for health improvement. We buy fitness apps, wearable devices, meal planning services, and wellness platforms. Each purchase promises to make healthy living easier and more efficient. People who use multiple health and fitness apps spend more time managing their health data than people who maintain simple analog routines. The technology designed to simplify healthy living has made it more complex and time-consuming. Our always-on, always-optimizing culture creates a perpetual state of preparation rather than action. We're constantly updating our systems, learning new tools, and optimizing our workflows. People spend significant time each day on activities they classify as life improvement or optimization. This includes managing productivity apps, updating digital systems, and consuming self-improvement content. Yet they spend much less time on activities they consider personally meaningful or fulfilling. The hidden cost of our digital efficiency tools extends beyond time and money to include cognitive overhead. Managing multiple platforms, remembering various passwords, and keeping different systems synchronized requires mental energy that could be directed toward authentic pursuits. People who use fewer digital tools report higher levels of mental clarity and creative thinking, even though they may appear less efficient by conventional productivity metrics. Photography provides example of how digital tools can create delay rather than efficiency. Previous generations took photos and developed them, creating immediate physical memories. Today, we take thousands of digital photos that require sorting, editing, organizing, and backing up. People spend more time managing their photo libraries than they do actually taking photos. The convenience of digital photography has created a burden of digital asset management that consumes the time we thought we were saving. Like Thoreau's walker versus train passenger, those who choose simpler approaches often reach their desired outcomes faster than those who invest in complex digital systems. The person who writes in a notebook may produce more completed work than someone who spends weeks perfecting their digital writing setup. The individual who exercises in their living room may maintain better fitness than someone who optimizes their workout app and gym schedule. This pattern of choosing complexity over simplicity doesn't just affect our productivity systems. It shapes how we begin each day, often determining whether we'll spend the morning betrayal, how we start each day wrong. The first decision you make each morning reveals whether you'll spend the day living authentically or postponing yourself for another 24 hours. Yet most of us sabotage ourselves within minutes of opening our eyes. We reach for our phones before we've even sat up in bed, immediately flooding our consciousness with other people's priorities, problems, and perspectives. Most of us check our phones within minutes of waking up, filling our minds with others' priorities before we've even acknowledged our own thoughts. These habits represent millions of people who begin each day by abandoning their own mental clarity in favor of digital noise. Consider what happens in your mind during those first few moments of consciousness. You wake up with a clean slate, free from the previous day's anxieties and disappointments. Your brain hasn't yet activated its default patterns of worry, comparison, and distraction. You have a brief window of mental clarity and possibility. Then you grab your phone, and within seconds you're scrolling through social media feeds, reading news headlines, or responding to messages. People who check their phones immediately upon waking experience significantly higher anxiety levels throughout the day, compared to those who delay phone usage by at least 30 minutes. This morning betrayal extends beyond social media consumption to include how we structure our entire wake-up routine. We've designed morning schedules that prioritize external demands over internal development.